If there are any questions, I'm open for first 10 minutes till 8:15. So please let me know. I asked you to go through the session, yesterday's session again. So any questions, please? Uh, Dharm, are we good? Do you have any questions?
Hi, Manoj.
Not for now. Actually, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, Sushmita, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have a doubt regarding the triggered task.
Okay.
Means we are triggering a pipeline. Means we are stopping the data which we are transferring to the destination, right?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question again?
Means we are triggering a pipeline, right?
Correct.
So it means it will stop the execution or the data which we are transferring to the destination.
No, no, no. It's actually like, the triggering part or the trigger task works like. So there are two options for us, right? So one, you can see the play button that I told you earlier, that I showed you in the last sessions. You can use that to execute a pipeline. And
Mm.
the other thing is you can create a trigger task and execute the pipeline uh, using some external application. I mean, take this URL and configure it in some external application like Postman or something and use it.
Uh,
The only purpose of these tasks or maybe executing a pipeline is to reach the data to the destination itself. Read the data, do the transformation, and reach the destination itself. It won't stop anywhere.
Means we are giving a certain mm, run out run out time. We are giving a run out time, right?
Yeah. After that the timeout. After that, it will stop the pipeline.
It
Yes.
means if it is in the middle of the execution, means it will stop the
Correct.
data.
Correct. It will stop. I mean,
So,
it won't see. Let's say
um,
there are 1 million records. Okay. 500,000 records has been inserted. Okay. And the time has crossed the 60 minutes. It will
mm,
stop the pipeline. And the destination will have only that 500,000 records, not the 1 million records.
mm. So if we have to re-execute it, or it will
We
start
have to,
from.
first thing we have to do is purge the data that is being inserted into the database. Purge in the sense, I mean, delete,
Okay.
because there will be duplicates in that case if we are trying to rerun into the destination. But
Okay.
these days, destination systems will have definitely this unique key combination or a primary key set on a columns, wherein they won't allow the same record to be inserted again. Instead,
Okay.
it will throw an error that this record is already been inserted, something like that. So in that case, you don't need to worry because anyway it won't insert. But
Yeah.
that primary key setup or something is not available in your external system, then you have to purge. I mean, delete first that 500,000 records manually, or maybe build a Snaplogic pipeline to delete those records and then rerun again.
Okay.
Do some modifications to the pipeline wherein it should not cross that 60 minutes timeout that we have put it out there.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another question.
Yep.
Difference between the secured URL and the cloud URL, like whether it is a cloud or a ground. Even a cloud URL has an authentication, right?
Correct. So we are speaking about this enhanced security mechanism earlier, right? So enhanced security mechanism is something once you have added this additional subscription to the security of from Snaplogic, then you can use the secured URL that has been provided by the Snaplogic. If we don't have, it will show you anyway, but you cannot use it. The response will be 404 or 500 every time.
Mhm.
Okay, it won't be a 200 status in the sense, I mean, it won't be a success. It will be a failure every time. But if you are using a normal mechanism, the token that is being given by the Snaplogic, then it will be the cloud URL or the groundplex URL you're gonna use that and configure it and provide this token. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Anyone, please?
Yeah, hi Manoj.
Hey, Sandeep. Yep.
I have one questions. When we are create the triggered task, there is a notification tab. Am I right?
Correct.
And notification tab, we have a mention the email ID
Correct.
and we mention the reason behind on which clause the pipeline status. Am I right?
Pipeline
And
should send a notification. Yes.
yeah, right. And suppose start and failure conditions, we
Mhm.
have received the notification on mail. Okay. And my question is that we can write and modify the mail content, or it's a predefined content which
Mhm.
I have received on a mail.
The point is, in that case, you cannot have these notifications enable in the task. Instead, what you can do is you can code your logic within the Snaplogic pipeline. Let's say a Snaplogic failure has happened. Okay, you can use this email sender snap. Okay,
Okay.
and wherein you can customize your own content, like, okay, this is the pipeline and this has failed due to this reason or something. You can customize your logic and you can have it in your pipeline itself. You cannot do it within the task within the task, that there will be some predefined Java exception that will be thrown to your email. You have to see the stack trace, I mean the error trace, and identify yourself that, okay, this is the error or this is what it caused to fail, something like that.
Okay. And my second question is, Manoj,
Mhm.
if there is a naming convention of Snap is case sensitive if we are providing the name of pipelines or name of task declaration.
Mm. It's not mandatory. I mean, it's up to you. Basically, what Snaplogic do is it will just have the same pipeline name and it will automatically append the task. Our basic conventions. I mean, we will go through the conventions and everything today. Basic convention would be go with the underscore. Don't give
Uh,
spaces in the pipeline names or task names. Go with the underscores. That's the basic convention. And it's not mandatory that you should have the pipeline name itself. According to your need, you can change it to anything.
okay, Manoj. And Manoj, I have one silly question that, sir, if suppose that I have create 5 tasks, okay, and
Okay.
I have enable all tasks, then there is a cost changing, charging for or extra pay by the organization to the Snap project.
No, no, nothing like that. You can create any number of tasks. Once you have the basic subscription from Snaplogic, you can create any number of tasks actually.
No, if we have to enable of that task, so there is a extra charge to pay our organization to Snap project or not?
Yes, there that will be different actually. Additional cost in the sense additional subscription policies with enhanced security and everything, that is additional. But let's say with the basic subscription itself, and you have created multiple tasks on different pipelines, okay, and you have enabled everything. It's with the package itself. Once you go with the basic package, it will be there itself. So you don't need any additional subscription for that.
Okay, Manoj, thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Uh, any more questions?
Manoj, one more thing is there.
Yeah,
Like
please.
as we get the response in other platform like 404 not found, 500
Right,
and
correct.
200 okay. So
Right.
what in case of Snap Logic? Mainly when we hit the URL or like
Same thing.
when we use the trigger task or schedule task.
Right. Same thing. It will be 404, 200. Same statuses. There will be no difference. 500 in case of server is down. 400 if page not found, something related to that. 200 statuses if the data is successfully processed or partially processed. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that. So the
So,
statuses are same. There won't be
so
any
we'll
difference.
get the notification on that like particular.
Correct. Correct. The
Okay.
page itself. I mean, let's say if you are using Postman, for example.
Okay.
So you will get that 404 in the response itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Got it.
sure. Any more questions?
Yeah, Manoj, I have
Yeah.
one more questions.
Okay.
In debug mode, if we
Right.
are not click the check button, then record the next five trigger on this task. Am I right?
Right. Right.
And
Record.
I have received all data from pipelines from start to end. Okay. So my question is that this data allocate any memory in our database?
Right. I mean, there is this database specially for the Snaplogic itself. We call it as SLDB, Snaplogic database. Okay. Those five transactions will be stored on the database itself. So that's where they have this limitation. If customer identify that, okay, we need the first five itself, and we don't want that infinite transactions, uh, start date and end time and everything. Those metadata details we don't need. Then we can configure it, or we can check that checkbox in the task.
Okay, but there is a one thing that if we have to fill all records in database, then
Mhm.
it is possible to delete by command as like we have to go as a manual delete
Right.
or
That is something again that admin has to do. So our Snaplogic admin in our customer environment like Groundplex or Snaplex, I mean Cloudplex from their team, they have to do it. I mean that will be additional cost again. If we are including their Snaplogic team, that will be an additional cost. That's where customers will take this call that, okay, do we need to spend this additional cost on deleting all these transactions? Do we need all these, or do we just need those five transactions of first five runs? If that is done, yeah, we can go ahead.
okay, Manoj. Manoj, I'm a little bit confused about cloud URL and cloud plugs because we have to have receive a URL in cloud and cloud plex both. So what is the reason of that we have to receive the URL in
So
cloud URL and cloud plex? I'm a little bit confused. If you have to suggest to me
sure.
what is the best
So
reason?
Cloudplex is a server, okay, which is maintained by the Snaplogic. We understand that, right?
Yeah.
And cloud URL is directly proportional or directly integrated to the Cloudplex. If I am talking about the Groundplex, which is managed by the customer, in the Snaplogic, you will see that Groundplex has a URL. The name will be Groundplex URL. Now you are seeing the cloud URL because in the trial version that we are seeing till now, we have the cloud version itself, not the ground version. So if a task is created on a Cloudplex, you will see a cloud URL in that page that we have shown earlier. If the task is created on a Groundplex, there will be a ground URL. That's it. Uh, there is not much to confuse again on that actually.
Okay, Manoj, but there is a cloud URL. You have to use any browser to open the URL with authentication.
It's not with the browser actually. I just have showed you. You should give it in some external application like Postman or some other customer application. So some external explanation, yes, you have to give it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the clear. Thanks, Manoj.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Uh,
Sir,
yeah, yeah, Adi, yeah.
sir, how tasks work internally and what are its main feature? Please let me know.
Adi, if you can go back to your earlier sessions, you will get it in that because we have discussed everything in brief
Okay, sir.
about the trigger task, schedule task, everything. Okay, you will get to know. Please go through the earlier sessions. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and Sonali, to your questions, we have not discussed the ultra task till now. We'll get back to your question once we cover this. Ultra task. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead and start my screen sharing. Let me know if everyone can see it. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Manoj.
Okay.
Yeah.
So till yesterday we have covered the basic blocks of Snaplogic. What is this, and how we basically do, what are the different components, basic components actually. So that's what we have covered till now. Now I am going a bit deep, a bit deep within Snaplogic Manager, Designer, and Dashboard. Okay, as the name suggests, platform overview and managing assets. Okay, within the Snaplogic, there are three components that we have discussed. What are those? Designer, Manager, and Dashboard. Okay, and we have already seen how they look, right? So basically those are being supported in these two operating systems, which is Windows and Mac. One thing we have to remember is Linux systems are not supported. The development cannot be done on the Linux systems. Linux is something, the operating system, which was used a bit earlier, like maybe 5-10 years back or something. But now for development we are not using, and the supported versions for the Snaplogic itself is Windows and Mac. And the most supported browsers are, what is this? Google Chrome and Firefox, and latest versions are recommended. This could be a version when I have taken this, but there could be some latest version for on both of these. We should use those for the best experience with Snaplogic. Okay, I'm not going what is designer, what is manager, what is dashboard. We already know that, right? Or someone want me to repeat it? Let me know. We already know what is designer, what is manager. What does we do basically using designer, manager, and dashboard? I can go ahead, right? We don't need to go through this again.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, as I have showed you how the login page looks like. Okay, we can, there are multiple possibilities where you can log in. One is using username and password, right? So basically that is what I am doing every time. I'm using my username and password to log in, right? So the other thing is using login via single sign-on. So let's say if your company, let's say you're working in a XYZ company, and they have this login via single sign-on uh, applied, or they have this enabled for their whole organization, then you can use this option and you can log in. So what is the purpose of this? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't worry, I will go through this. There will be a active directory which will be maintained by the customers or in your company itself. Active directory will contain all the employees list. Let's say there are 10 employees in that company, and I have created an active directory wherein I have employed or inserted all those 10 employees into that active directory, okay, within my company. And that active directory will contain the specific employee username and password credentials. Okay. Whenever this login via sign on is applied for that organization, it means that in their active directory, Manoj as a user, there should be an username and password, and this Snaplogic will directly communicate to that active directory within your organization, and it will try to log in directly. Okay, you don't need to provide your username and password every time, and it's just that you need to provide your username so that the Snaplogic will directly map it to the active directory which is there within your company, and you can able to log in without the username and password every time. So if I show you an example, I cannot go in and show you how I can log in with login via this because I'm not into some company. This is just a trial account. What I'm doing, you already know I'm doing this username and password. The other option is click on this login via, and you will get this organization tab. You have to give what is your organization. Okay, it will just pick it up. Okay, if the organization is known to this. Okay, if it doesn't know, it will show throw this error on non-organization, because the this trial version that I'm looking at is not configured to that. Okay, so basic thing what we basically or what we generally do is use the username and password. So this way we generally logs in. Even in future, when you create your trial accounts, you will be able to do the login only with username and password, not with the single sign-on. Single sign-on will be used when there is this Active Directory configuration with your company, and that company can sync up directly with the Snaplogic. Once you click on it and once you give that organization name, it will directly go and look for your username, and it will able to authenticate, and you will directly come to this page. Make sense? Any questions we have on this? Active Directory and everything, that will be new to you. I suggest just go to a browser or Google it, what is an Active Directory. You will get to know more insights on that. If you have any questions, you can ask me on that in the tomorrow session or maybe in future sessions. So before that, just do a simple research on what is Active Directory and what I am trying to talk here. So basically, Snaplogic tries to communicate with the Active Directory of the customer or the company's records, and they will have some number of employees. Let's say if I am authenticated with that, I will be able to use this option and log in. I don't need to provide username and password. Why Snaplogic has given this? Maybe I'm anyway able to log in using username and password. What is the purpose of giving this login via single sign-on? Right. This should be a question to many of you. So the only purpose is to keep safe of the pipelines or the business that you have developed till now using Snaplogic from the intruders or from the hacking, or from hackers, to safeguard. Because if you click on, or if you provide username and password, click on this, you might be able to get different URL, but if they know some advanced techniques of hacking, they can enable, or they can see what is the username and password that we are trying to use, and they can log in into that, and there will be some business loss using that, right? So most of the companies will go with this single sign-on, because username and passwords will not be enabled through internet or through URL or through HTTP calls. That will only be communicated through an Active Directory sync up with Snaplogic to the customers or the employees environment. So your username and password are safe within the company, and people outside of your company cannot see that, and that will be secured, and there is no problem with your user. So that's where they have come up with the single sign-on also. You can use both ways, but more secured way is single sign-on. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we will go and look at what is designer. I have explained you what is designer and what are the different subcomponents, but still there are few components left. As said, we will go through those in future sessions. But as a brief, you already know what is a designer, what we can do, what are snaps, what is pipeline step, what is pattern step, what is pipeline parameters, right? How we can change the name of the pipeline that I have told you, correct? How we can enable the pattern and rename that, and we can come here and we can place it here. What are the different pipeline, what is the pipeline step, basically what is the snaps, and how we can see the snap packs, or otherwise how we can see the different types of the snaps that we can see based on the read, parse, transform, flow, format, write, grouping. You already know what is the designer, right? Does someone want me to go through any of these? We are discussing from first session what is designer and how does it look. I don't think we need to go through, or we need to explore it again, right? Yes, no, maybe.
You're right.
Yep. Okay, I'll just go through the points that they have given. We can create, design, and manage pipelines within the designer, right? How we can click on plus, you will be able to create a new pipeline. You can provide any name here. Snaplogic POC. Okay. By using this plus sign, you can create a pipeline, right? You can manage a pipeline. Where you can see the pipelines, you can see here in the Manoj Suri city that I have created this Snaplogic pipeline. You can manage the pipeline here, right? Provides integration assistant to support pipeline development. Can someone let me know what is this point? Provides integration assistant to support pipeline development. Can someone?
It's Iris, I think.
Yeah, correct. So it's Iris. So Snaplogic has given this Iris support as well. Okay, introspection. The Snaplogic snap or the pipeline itself can introspect itself because see when you have saved it, it was automatically validating it and it was going or giving me the results. You're not doing anything, right? You're not validating it or you have run it. It's just able to introspect itself. Introspection itself is nothing but it was able to validate itself what are the different configurations that we have provided to this pipeline and able to give the response. Why it has shown red here? We have not provided anything, right? The mandatory fields are empty, so that's where the snaps has failed. If you can see, missing property, the mandatory fields are empty, right? I have not provided the accounts also, so that's where it has failed. So it was able to, or it is able to introspect itself and provide the result of a particular snap. So that's where they meant this introspection. Data preview. Let's say I'll show you an example. Mm, I'll speak about everything, all this. Okay. Don't worry about. I'm just trying to give you an example of what does they mean by this data preview. Right. So if you can see, the other snap has failed because there are no property values. But if you can see the latest mapper that I have taken and I have provided some value, ABC is the value that I have provided. Data preview is nothing but the dark green one that you can see here. It is what they are referring to, the data preview. You can see the preview of the data. Preview in the sense there will be a limited set of data that will be shown here when you validate. Okay, if I click on this, I will be able to see what is the value that I have given. Temp is something, the column name that I have given. ABC is the value. So if you can see the value, you can, see the output. This is the output, and this is where they call it as data preview. You can see the preview also. Are you able to catch it? This is what they are talking about. This is what they call as data preview. So let's say if the configurations are correct here, you will be able to see this dark green one with this box in every other snap. Okay, in every other snap, you will be able to see it. This is what they are talking about, the data preview. Okay, test pipelines with manual execution. What do I mean by manual execution? I was speaking about this while I have created or speaking about this tasks. Tasks can also perform the manual task will be used to perform this manual pipeline execution itself, but we can automate it by providing the URL and the token to the external application, wherein we can automate that process somehow. The other point of manual execution that they are talking about is this play button that I am speaking. So if I click on this, okay, it was running, okay, and it has failed and it has given me some errors, and that error is failed to prepare, account is required. Okay, it says account is required, please set it in account tab. So if I see the account is empty, I have not provided. I will go through this account and what are accounts in future sessions, but for your reference, accounts are empty. So that's where they have provided this error. Okay, missing property value, this is one another, this is another failure. Account is missing, another failure. Missing property value, another failure. Likewise, there are multiple failures because we have not done anything here, right? It turned yellow, it used to be green, right? It used to be normal color, then it turned red because there is a failure. It turned yellow here because the snap did not process. It was in an execution mode when the pipeline has failed. It will turn green when the whole pipeline execution is completed. It will turn red when the pipeline has a failure. It will turn yellow, yellow in the sense in between process of start and finish. Start and finish, this snap will turn into yellow, indicating that it is in between of a process, but the pipeline has failed. That's where it has stopped in yellow color. Otherwise, it would have turned green. Okay, let me show you that as well. I'm doing multiple things parallel. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, if I run it, see this, I have disabled this snap to stop the process for now. But if you can see this, this has turned green because there is no failures. Why? Because I have given the values, and it has not stopped at yellow because this pipeline or this snap is able to complete without errors, and it has turned green because the data is perfect and the result, it was able to give us the result also. Make sense? Make sense? Any
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So this is what we can do using Snaplogic. But as said, there are different components that we can do. So that is a bit advanced for you right now. Just to clear on this, how we can create a project, okay? How we can see the different statuses on a snap, how we can see the data preview, how we can run the pipeline, how we can see the stats. We can see the pipeline statistics also. Once we run it, if we click on this pipeline statistics, it will show you. Okay, this mapper is the one that is there. It has executed for 0.001 seconds, and the total output and the total time is 0.002 seconds. This is what the statistics that I was speaking about, and we can see the same thing in dashboard itself, because dashboard's main purpose is to show the statistics. But for this pipeline, we can see the statistics here also. This will give us only this pipeline statistics, but in dashboard you can see all the pipeline statistics within our Snaplogic, within your Snaplogic. Make sense? So this is what it is. This is what the designer, we have just gone a bit further, and let us understand that how we can see the different statuses based on the color signals like red, yellow, and green. Data preview, how we can create a Snaplogic pipeline by clicking on this, how we can run it, how we can validate it, how we can see the pipeline statistics. This is the save button. Okay, we have discussed about this. And the second one, save button, validation. Validation is nothing but if I click on this, okay, the same like the run button, but validation is to give the data preview. But if you run the pipeline, it will not provide you the data preview. So one thing to remember, if you run a pipeline, the snap will not provide you the data preview. But if you validate, the snap will provide you the data preview. Okay, to see the data preview, we should validate. By running it, it won't provide you anything. Okay, make sense? We have spoken about these four components, right? We have spoken about this, how we create a pipeline. We have spoken about how we can change the name.
Sir, hello.
Yeah,
Sir, if you can re-explain the validation.
validation is something, if we want to see the data preview, what is the data preview? The one that is highlighted in the dark green color here is the data preview. If we want to see the data preview, we should use the validate option. Okay, let me show you again. I am deleting this snap. Okay, uh, let me get the mapper. Okay. Right side path is the column name. The left side is the actual value. So I have clicked on this. Okay, it has given me the preview. Okay, I have saved this and I have ran this. 1 second. If you can see, this is how the normal snap looks like, right? I have given some values. Let's say I have run it. Were you able to see the dark green color now? You won't be able to see it because you have run it and the data preview is not available. Let's say I want to see the data preview. Okay, data preview only available for the specific set of records. Okay, the whole set will not be, you will not be able to see the whole set of records in preview. In preview, there will be a specific count. Only till 2000 records you can see the records in a preview. Let's say if you have more than 2000 records, you won't be able to see the data preview. Only till 2000 records you will be able to see the data preview. Things to remember. Okay, if I click on this, it will validate, right? Now if you can see, it has given me this dark green color where I can see the actual value. But if I run this, it is not giving me anything. So the only difference between the validation and the run is you cannot see the data preview, one thing, and there are a bit of additional things which is a bit advanced for you. I will let you know, but this is one of the basic difference that you have to understand, that if you want to see the validation results, what I mean, data preview, you have to click and validate the pipeline. Otherwise, if you know what is the result of it, you can go and run it. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is what the designer tab is. So now
Thank you.
are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So let's now go and look at the manager tab. Okay. We have spoken a bit of small components, right, in manager also. We know the tasks tabs. In the tasks, we came here and click on plus and we have created multiple tasks, right? We know this. We have spoken about the snapbacks, how we can do it and everything. We will go a bit further and we will understand what is a manager now. Okay, what can a manager do? Create and manage, right? You can create a user and user groups. What is a user? Let's say I am Manoj. Okay, my company XYZ has purchased this Snaplogic, but Manoj as a person should have access to the Snaplogic so that he can log in into the system and he can do the development for me. So for that, what Snaplogic admin have to do on behalf of company is he has to create a user with my name, like Manoj Surishetty. So this is the user. This is the user profile, right? This is my username. They have to, I have created it on my own, right, as a trial version. But what they have to do is they have to create this and they have to enable this user and they have to give it to me. We can do it in user, I mean in manager. This can be done by the Snaplogic admin, could be from the customer's environment or directly from the Snaplogic team itself. And we can create a groups also. Groups in the sense, uh, a group is nothing but one or more users, right? We can create a user and we can assign a different groups to each users. Okay, let's say there are 10 people. I want to differentiate these 10 people into different groups. I have created 3 groups out of it. One group contains 4 people, one group contains 3, and the other contains 3. And I want to specify the access to each group. Group A contains admin access, in the sense they can develop, they can delete, and they can manage the assets also. Group B contains only the development access, in the sense they can develop, but they cannot create the users, or they cannot create a group, additional groups also. Group C contains only read access, in the sense they cannot develop, they cannot create, they can only see, the pipeline. That's it. They can log into the Snaplogic, they can only see, they cannot do any other action. Okay, I have spoken about three groups. Group A contains the admin access, in the sense they can create, delete, or manage, or give the permissions to the other users as well. That is the purpose of group A, or they can do it. For example, group B have the development access, in the sense they can only develop, they cannot create or manage the assets. Okay, group C has only read access, and they cannot develop, they cannot create, or they cannot manage the assets. Make sense? Okay, i i
Yeah.
I
Like
request
workflow, right? Like workflow access in the group when we create the group, right?
sorry, what is your question?
You told me we can create the group, right?
Correct.
So as a workflow, right? Suppose one group has access, read access only, and
Right.
another is provide the access approval, like admin,
Right. Right. Correct.
right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So within the manager itself, we can create a project spaces, projects and projects assets. What do we mean by project spaces? So if I go to this Snaplogic manager, I can see the project spaces. Okay, if I have access to create a project spaces, you will be able to see a drop down. See, if I hover on these projects, I will be able to see the drop down. If I click on this, there are different things, right? But in case if I have access, as this is the trial version, I don't have access to create a project spaces. But let's say if I have a access to project spaces, I can create a project space. That is again to the business requirement, what should be the project space name and everything. I can create a project space, and inside that I can create different projects, and inside that projects I can have different pipelines, and inside each pipeline there will be a combination of different snaps. This is how the workflow goes. Project spaces, if I have the access to the project spaces, I can have the drop down, click on that, I can create a project space. Like, there is this projects, right? Snaplogic has by default given me this project. Let's say I don't want this, I want to have a different project space. They will, if I have access, let's say if I'm an admin, they will give me this drop down. Once I click on the drop down, I will get an option like create project. There is this create project option, right? Likewise, I will have an option of create project space. So in that case, what I will do is I will create Manoj Shetty project space. So below this, there will be another record that we can see like this, having different project space. Projects is the project space given by the Snaplogic. Now I have created this Manoj Kumar space. Just assume that in your mind that there will be a different name or different record here. If you can see, if I have the access, that is where I have the access or ability to create the project space. In case if not, you will not be able to see it. As I don't have access, there is no drop down here. If I have access, there will be a drop down and project space will be created. Okay, that is project space. What is project? A node. Sorry, node. If I say node, you will get confused. Let's say a attribute. Okay, under the project space is called a project. Okay, in Snaplogic, the structure goes like this. Top level will be project spaces. The child will be projects. Inside the projects, there will be pipelines. These are the pipelines. These are the projects actually, sorry. If I go to the projects, there will be pipelines and accounts and some things. I'm just reiterating things. Project space is the root one. Inside that, there will be a branch called projects. Inside the project spaces, we can create any number of projects. For now, we can only see projects because Snaplogic by default has given to us. And as I don't have access, we cannot create it. The second thing, under the projects, I have the ability to create now, right? So Snaplogic has by default given me something, but they have given me the development access so that I was able to get this drop down. So if I click on this create project, okay, I can create sample POC project. Okay, if I go back and see, where is that sample POC project? Can you see? If I would have the access like to the project spaces, I will be able to create something like this. But I have the development access, so I was able to create a project. Coming to this project, I can create the project and I can name it something. I have created this project. So using inside this project, I can create any number of pipelines. So how I can go and create it, I will show you in the future sessions. But inside this project, I can create any number of pipelines. In Manoj Kumar, we were creating many number of pipelines like Snaplogic POC, file to SQL Server. Likewise, we have created in our earlier sessions, right? So in the newly created project also, I can create any number of pipelines, accounts, tasks, and many more things that we can do, right? Are we able to get it? What is a project space? Project space is a combination of different projects. What is a project or projects? Projects are the combination of different projects with different names according to the business needs. What is what is a project here? A project is a combination of different pipelines or a single pipeline having accounts, files, or tasks. Okay, it could be a combination of these. Okay, likewise, in this Manoj Shetty, you can see different assets here. One is a pipeline, the other two are a task. This is a pipeline again, this is a task, and these two are pipelines. Right? If we go to the different tasks, different tabs here, in task section, you can see all the 3 tasks that we have created. In the pipeline section, you can see all the 4 pipelines that we have created. In all section, we can see all the assets within these tabs that we are seeing here. Okay. That is how it is. This is how Snaplogic has segregated the creation of project spaces, projects, pipelines, and inside this snaps. Make sense? So what we can view available snap packs. These are the snap packs that we can see inside the manager. We can see enable subscription features. As this is you know the trial version, we won't be able to see the subscriptions because trial version won't be having it. Customer needs, according to the customer things, we will be able to see different snap packs on the subscription things. Okay, we can see the alerts and logs also. As we don't have the access here, there will be a different section called alerts and logs, which will be where we will be able to see different alerts. What is the pipeline, what is the status of it. Likewise, we can see alerts and logs also there. The Snaplogic admin will be having this logs. This is something a metadata sort of thing to the Snaplogic. It will create a log, an alert every time a Snaplogic runs. So that will be stored within SLDB. SLDB in the sense Snaplogic database. That database can be managed by the Snaplogic admin. Those logs and everything can be seen by him. And we cannot see that because we don't have that subscription or we don't have the admin access. Okay, we can search for the assets. There is this search bar. We can search for anything. Okay, in tasks also. Okay, there is no search box here, but in Snappacks there is a search box wherein we can search for the specific Snappack which we want. Okay, let's say I want Salesforce. So you can see Salesforce here. Likewise, you can just see and how many number of snaps are configured. What is the type? It is premium. Premium in the sense subscription. We need to get the subscription. Let's say uh, I want transform. This is public. Type public in the sense this is freely given. We don't need any premium or subscription for this. Okay. Likewise, they have given search boxes. Okay, in different sections. Manage security settings. So as we were speaking about different securities or enhanced mechanisms and everything, as a Snaplogic admin, what they can do is they can go to the Snaplogic manager. If I have the admin access, I can manage the security also by providing the enhanced security mechanism to the Snaplogic. Or let's say a customer has a different security mechanism that they want to see, so they can do it or they can enable it by going into the manager. Okay, and we were speaking one point about this note. Functionality available in manager depends on user permissions. So according to your permissions, you can see different sort of assets available within the manager, Snaplogic manager. Okay, you cannot run through. As you can see in this screenshot, there are different things here. Users, group settings. Can you see those? I don't see users here, but they can see users, groups, because the screenshot that has been taken, they have this admin access and they can do many things. Adding users, adding groups. Likewise, they have many attributes here they can do. Okay, this is about Snaplogic manager. So we have just dig a bit deep into Snaplogic and Snaplogic manager, and we were able to address few things, like what is the all section contains. It will contains all the different type of things that we have created within the project. What will the tasks tab will have, what will the pipelines tab will have. So these three we have discussed, and how we can create a project space, how we can create a project, and what will be there within a project, how different we can create a pipeline, and that those things we all have discussed, right? The other things we will go further sessions, then we will discuss more on those. But for now, as this is a sort of a medium level introduction to the Snaplogic, it's not a basic intro. Basic intro is done. A medium level introduction, I would say, that we have that we are able to understand a bit few things on the Snaplogic manager.
I have a question, Manoj here.
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, if you can go back. Yeah. So what's the main difference? Like I can see the pipelines in the designer as well, right? And the same thing like I can see the snapbacks and other things in designer as well, right?
Right,
So what's
right.
the main purpose? Like why we are having all these things again in the manager? Is there any specific reason?
Yeah, there is a reason. So
Yeah.
as manager suggests, we can manage the assets here.
Mm-hmm.
So the pipeline deletion, let's say I want to delete this pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
The pipeline deletion and everything can be done here because we can manage here. But in the designer, we can use it or we can modify the pipelines itself. We cannot delete it. For example, just to let you understand. So manager is mostly on the managing assets in the sense, delete or something sort of things. But if we want to update or do some sort of development sort of things, wherein we will be able to see it in the designer. Even it goes with Snapbacks also. I can come here and I can delete the Snapbacks if I have the
Right. Hello, I lost your voice.
Ravi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the name suggests, it is mostly on the managing side, like deleting sort of things, mostly 90% of the times. But if we want to do any specific development sort of things, we will be able to see the Snapbacks there also, where we can just pull those out and we can do the development things like, updating the snaps and something like that. But in manager, mostly the deletion sort of things and what are the number of snaps that we have defined, mostly on the metadata sort of things, we can view the things actually.
Okay. So you have shown like the premium and the public type of the snapbacks, right? So now I can see here it is as a custom.
Yeah,
So means
custom
some of
is
the
for
features
custom.
are paid and some are publicly available.
No, these are not publicly available. Customer for specific custom need for the specific customer. By default, just to show us, they have given this custom snapback. We cannot
Gotcha.
use it. Let's say North Corp has purchased this and they have their custom snaps available in this. I mean, with the help of Snaplogic team or with their Snaplogic team, they have developed something, and this is something custom to them.
Okay, okay. Customized basically. Got it.
Customized basis. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So are we good with the manager? So
Oh yeah, if you can just go to the last tab as well, that is the flows
which one, Ravi?
in the manager only.
Manager, yes.
Yeah. So there was a tab, no, like where you were showing the files and all. If you can
Oh,
click on
yeah,
the
yeah.
project.
One second. Fine. Yeah,
Yeah. So the last thing is the flows, right?
flows, right.
Yeah. If you can click on it.
Yeah.
So when the flow will be available here? I means, sorry if you have already
No, I
spoken.
have not covered it. This is a bit advanced to the team, so
Okay.
I will just get back to you. We have
Yeah, yeah, I
discussed
was thinking like I have missed this, so that's why
yeah,
I
yeah,
asked.
all tasks and pipelines. Only these three tabs have covered. Only
Okay, okay.
Snapbacks and Snaplexes we already know. I don't think we need to cover.
Correct, correct.
So accounts, files, tables, flows. I will come back to this because I feel this is a bit advanced to the team. They will just confuse.
Okay.
We have only covered all tasks and pipelines. That's it.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
What
So
is
the
different custom and premium?
custom, in the sense, let's say I have a company. We are
Hmm.
talking about North Corp, right? So
Hmm.
North Corp has the Snaplogic team or the
Hmm.
Snaplogic development team. Them that
Hmm.
I want a scenario wherein customer is asking for me this sort, and I don't want to separate things and everything. What I want is you as a Snaplogic team just develop and give me something so that
Hmm.
it will be only available to the North Corp. No XYZ company can use it or can see it, and that is
Hmm.
something custom to my company itself, like North Corp.
Hmm.
Not every people, or you cannot see it in public. First thing, you cannot see it in the premium pack because North Corp has added or asked for separate subscription for this customized snap pack, wherein a different logic is altogether there. I will just use those snap as part of the North Corp team. That is something custom.
Okay, okay, got it.
Makes sense? Is it clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Just go through the session again. I mean, you may get confused,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
just
yeah. Okay, okay. Right, right.
yeah. Okay. So let me go to the dashboard. You might already know we have discussed few things about Snaplexes. Snaplexes will be available in the Snaplogic dashboard. What is a Cloudplex and different things, and I mean a bit about Snaplogic dashboard, right? So now we will go a bit deeper into dashboard. How does and what is the different attributes that we have within the dashboard? Okay. Dashboard comprises of 4 tabs, as you can see, like health wall, pipeline wall, task wall, Snaplex wall. We call it walls or tabs also, but basically Snaplogic convention goes wall, health wall. So health wall contains, or what we can view, monitor, pipeline, and Snaplex health. Health in the sense, so if I click on this health, it will open me this. If I click on this, there will be 2 tabs available here, right? This is the Snaplex, and these are the different nodes that is available. As this is the trial version, we won't be able to see the way that we are doing here. So if they click on the health wall, they have 2 tabs available. If you can see Snaplex health, pipeline health. Within these Snaplexes, there are different pipelines as run using one of these nodes or Snaplexes. Snaplex is a combination of nodes, so we call it vice versa. So we will be calling it nodes sometimes and snaplexes, but one thing we need to remember is it's a combination of nodes, snaplex. Okay, we can see the health in the sense whether it is failed or success, or does we have any warnings on the pipeline level. Let's say if I come to the snaplex health, is the snaplex running, what is the CPU percentage, what is the memory percentage, whether there is this load balancing applied or not. Okay, if you have admin access, you will be able to see some more features, but for now just try to understand that these are the specific things that you can see on the snaplex health. There are different set of attributes that you can see in the pipeline health. Okay, this is what is on the snaplex health, this health wall. If I click on the pipeline, okay, I told you that pipeline wall will have the pipeline execution and statistics, right? So earlier, if you remember that I have ran the pipelines, right? If you can see, it has given me all these, or it has just, or it is showing me that at 8:37 I have run this pipeline multiple times, and 8:35 I ran the pipeline, but it has failed, right? So if it is failed, it will show you in this red. If it is completed, it will show you this completed status. And what is the snaplex and node, on which snaplex and which node it has run, what is the username, who is the user who has executed it, how much duration it has taken to, run. Documents is something a bit advanced, but for now there is only one document. That's where it has given this one document. And what is the pipeline name. So this is what I was speaking earlier, the pipeline statistics, right? These are the different statistics you will be knowing in future. And the major thing what we see here is the status is the most important thing here, because that's where we will be able to know or see that the pipeline has run successfully or not. Our intention as a developer is to make the pipeline run free without any errors, so that these sort of errors, or the highlighted, these red highlighted ones, will not come in future. Okay, these are the runs that I have made earlier, and it is showing me. Okay, I have clicked it on 1 hour. Let's say this 1 hour tab will only give me the executions of last 1 hour. Let's say if I want to see the last 8 hours executions, if I click on this, it will give me that. As this, there are no executions last 8 hours, the execution has started only from 8:37. It is still giving that. The same goes with 24 hours. If I want to see all the pipelines history from last 24 hours, I should be clicking this, and I will be able to get more number of records. And if I want to increase the entries per page, I can increase how many number of stats can be seen within a single page. I can click on this and I will get the number of records. I can configure it to 10, or I can configure it to 25. So these are the 4 different configurations that they have given. Based on this, there will be, these pipelines are divided into pages. So each page will give 100 pipelines information, 50 pipelines information, or 25 or 10 likewise. Okay, so this is what the pipeline wall do. The snaplex wall, if I go and hit on the snaplex wall, okay, this is a bit further into the things that we have seen in the health wall, right? Health wall, it is giving me this memory percentage, CPU percentage, right? If I click on the snaplex, it is taking time to give me the stats, but it will just show us on this cloudplex. There are different nodes will be shown here. Okay, what is the utilization? These are some of the charts that is being prepared. Okay, this is very much advanced to you, but once you understand how the Snaplogic and how the data processes is being happened, and how much time it is taking to each process to run, then you will be able to see most of these. But these are very much advanced. Just for your information, I'm just letting you know that using the Snaplex tab or wall, you will be able to see what is the percentage that has been happening on this CPU, or the node, or the snaplex. Okay, insights wall, it will be able to give us the time data and logs. We were talking about the logs and everything, right? So that insights wall is not available, as this is the trial version for us. Insights wall will be given to the admin access. As I was telling you that metadata, Snaplogic related metadata can be handled by the admin, and that metadata includes the logs and alerts of a specific pipeline run that can be seen by the Snaplogic admin, and he can monitor that how much time it has taken or what is the sort of data it has processed, like in a log, maybe in sort of a log. Okay, he will be able to monitor and do those things in the insight work. So this is what we have on the dashboard level. So do we have any questions on this? So we have discussed a bit earlier on the dashboard. Now we have just discussed few different attributes or two different walls or two different or four different components that we have within the dashboard. I hope we are good, right? Make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah. So project spaces and projects, I have explained you already. Project spaces and projects enable you to organize your assets. They also make it too easy to export and import all the related artifacts. I will let you know how we can import and export all the artifacts, but remember that it is a way to enable your organization know that in the XYZ project there are these. So let's say some new developer has come in, he can directly go into this project and see if it is organized in this way, project spaces and then projects likewise. Okay, a project space can contain one or more projects. As I showed you, a project space can contain any number of projects. Now we don't have access to create a project space, but as you can see, this project space can contain any number of projects that I was telling you earlier. Okay, a project is used to store all related accounts, files, tasks, and everything. So this project, let's say a project of this can be able to have all this. That is where they are trying to let us know. Okay, note, file stored in Snaplogic are typically configuration file. Do not store your data on SLDB. What do I mean by what do they mean by SLDB? Snaplogic database. So Snaplogic is giving us this suggestion that do not store your data on the Snaplogic. Instead, have the configuration files itself. What do they mean by configuration? To connect to a source or a target, we need a metadata connection that we were speaking earlier, right? Those sort of connections or the configuration files related to that, store that only on the SLDB. Otherwise, your data or the data that you are trying to process, Snaplogic is not suggesting suggesting that option or giving a red flag to that storing of the actual customer's data into the Snaplogic. Okay, this is a note that we need to understand. How we can create a project spaces, right? I have shown you the projects because I don't have access. I have not able to show you the project spaces. If you can see project spaces, if we click on the drop down, there will be this option enable. Okay, and once you click on this, you will be able to get this create project space option, and by creating that, you will be able to see a different projects here. See, in this screenshot they have created different project spaces here. Assessments project space, demo projects project space, my project space. Likewise, they have created many things, but for us only this project space is available because ours is a trial account. Like the same way, we can create a project. Okay, project creation I have shown you. Click on go to this projects, click on this create project. I have shown you, this is what they have done. Okay, you can give the name and it will create a project space and projects. I hope we are clear on project spaces and projects, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there they have we are speaking about different names, how we can give the name to the Snaplogic pipeline and tasks and accounts and everything. Snaplogic has some conventions to follow It's better if we follow the Snaplogic conventions as they recommend. They recommend that you standardize all these things. Like name should be in a camel case. What do they mean by camel case? First letter should be the small letter, and the next word that is starting should be a capital letter. Don't give test space pipeline. You should be able to give small t and capital T test pipeline. Use alphanumeric characters and underscores. It is suggested, it is the basic suggestion that don't give this. See, as you can see that I have given this name as Snaplogic POC. They suggest that don't provide any spaces in between. Use the camel case. Okay, what I can do is, okay, I can rename it like this, or otherwise what I can do, I can provide an underscore also, because that is also is their suggestion. Do not use spaces. That is a red flag. Alphanumeric characters in the sense combination of numbers and alphabets. Okay, like 241294. I have given some random number. I can provide you this also. As you can see, they have given this date here in this pipeline. These are numbers. These are words. So alphanumeric characters. As an example, they have given the space, but the suggestion is to go with underscores like this. Hyphens is also not recommended. You can give. It's not that you cannot use it. According to your needs, you can do it. But the recommendation is go with the standard, like they have suggested. Okay. In general, standards. These three things that we should remember. Follow the camel case. Use the alphanumeric characters and underscores. Do not use spaces. Okay. What are the other basic practices that we can follow? Name project space based on the business units or business group. Let's say in your company, there are different teams: sales team, marketing team, development team, testing team. Likewise, there are different set of teams. In this example, they have taken sales and marketing team. So we can create a project space where we don't have access to create now with the sales, so that as a end person or some other person has logged into into the Snaplogic, and they should understand that okay, sales project space will contain all the pipelines related to sales, all the projects related to the sales. Likewise, if I create a project space with marketing project space will contain all the projects having marketing information, all the pipelines having marketing information. Okay. Or we can create it using a business group as well: HR, analytics, and sales operations. We can use any of these options. Okay, this is just a suggestion. We can follow according to the customer leads, how they suggest and everything, but this is one of the uh, the conventions that they have given. And the other thing they are suggesting is this: append other high level parameters such as region name. Let's say your company is located in multiple regions in US, UK, and everything, and you have marketing and operations team there as well in different regions, and they suggest that provide that region name like US or UK. Based on that, there will be UK will have different project space, US will be having different project space. Their sales team will work different, and their sales team will work different, and they will have different pipelines altogether. And as an end person, they will be able to identify that okay, this project space will only have US related marketing or operations related pipelines only. So I won't be able to go to that because I am from UK. I have to go to the UK related project space, and I go there and I do the necessary operations that I want to do. Okay, these are some of the conventions they have given. And finally, what the summary. Now, by going all these things, we should be able to identify and understand that high level functionality of Snaplogic, create and manage project spaces and projects. So question yourself that do we cover all this, or do we have anything left, or do we are not clear on any of these things? We have covered all these two things. These two things. all together in a different components, different sections that is there in Snaplogic. So you will be able to identify, or you will be able to summon this, and you should be able to understand the medium concepts of Snaplogic now. So by this, we have covered all the platform and managing related stuff. I will be sharing this document also. So now, we are almost, I mean, we are done with the session. So just let me know any question on this. I'll be sharing this document, so it will be there for you. But now let me know any questions that you have till now that we have discussed. This is a bit advanced. I mean, 10% into the Snaplogic. Okay, just to understand how you can create project spaces, projects, different components. There are still a few left. We will be covering those in future. But for now, just try and understand, and let me know if you have any questions. I have stopped my sharing. Yep.
So Manoj, I have questions.
Mhm.
Like I'm not getting why we are focusing more on statics part like health, Netflixes, health, different type of charts, indicators, nodes. While in case of more loads, it will get already shifted, right? So like as earlier we uses many integration platforms, other applications. So we are not more focused on health part basically. So what in case of
So
like Snaplogic? I
Snaplogic,
know
what it
that
happens.
it's already gets shifted if load is more. So why?
Yeah, I mean, you are speaking mostly on the load balancing side, but there are other
Right,
things
right.
also that we should be able to understand. Snaplex, right? Snaplogic has given this capability as a person to you that you can manage your assets yourself, right? If you have a server, you can do it yourself. For that, you need to understand how the Snaplex works and what is health and how should be a load balancing work. But load balancing, we won't be able to do it now, as I told you. But that is something important because Snaplogic is is able to give you that capability now. Earlier it is only managed by the tools. Most of the tools, if you see the traditional tools, they are
Mhm.
doing, and we have the need of the specific tool, the team of their tool, for us
Mhm.
to have this capability of running mechanisms and everything. But now Snaplogic is giving you that. So they are letting you know how you should be able to do it. Not completely. If you want that, you should be able to speak to Snaplogic more on that. But now they are just giving you the intro that you can also do this also. So that's where we have
Okay.
focused actually.
Okay. And second thing is that we are get into the like platform overview and managing assets, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
basically, what do you mean by asset? Can we say the name of the project? It could be asset or
Yes. Project space is an asset.
okay.
Project is an asset. Pipeline is an asset. Yep.
And one more thing is there.
Yep.
Today's sessions we learned color indication for different status at the
Correct.
time of create and manage pipelines
Correct.
can
Correct.
so
Correct.
so in case we create or manage pipelines, so can we say the like different symbol for different synapse, like somewhere I seen triangle for CSV parser, a square for mapper, and some different for file reader. So is that
We were
fixed symbol
we
for
were actually we were actually
every synapse?
discussing this from last couple of sessions also.
Yeah, but
Triangle suggests binary, binary in the sense
no, no,
1001
no.
format.
I'm talking about that different triangle that is CSV parser. Like there is color filled in that triangle, and
No, no,
there
no,
is
nothing
square.
like that.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Okay.
Red says stopped, green says completed, yellow or partial yellow says that it is in process.
Can you open the same page like once again?
Sure,
I have a doubt.
sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. Actually, talking about there is like CSV parser, right? So that's
Correct.
filled by yellow, but that is triangle, and there is mapper that is square that filled by blue. So there is any fixed like symbol
No,
for a
you
specific one?
mean these snap colors
Right,
you're speaking
right,
about?
right. That
No,
that
no, they
that's
just
yeah.
have given it. That's it. uh, just they have given the symbols to identify that, okay, this is something that we can remember or something.
Okay.
Transform snaps has been given the square symbols.
Hmm.
Target snaps or source destinations has
So
given this
meanwhile, it could be anything, right? Like not
anything,
fixed
anything.
for any
So
like
if you
mapper or
have,
CC
let's say
partner.
we are speaking about this customized snap, right? To specific customer, they
Correct.
can have any shape. I mean, shape is something they have
Okay.
given to recognize. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
There is no importance on that. If you know what is the snap that you need, you don't need to worry about what is the shape that
Mm-hmm.
is there. And
Right.
do I need to remove this, remember this snap shape or not? No, it does not have any significance for
Okay.
us actually.
I just thought like there is a color indicator for every different
No, no,
status.
no, no,
So
no,
maybe
no. Only the color indication is there only for the completed, failed, and
processed
running
field and
status.
right.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Manish.
Yeah.
That's it from my side.
Okay. Any more questions? We still have 3 minutes left in the session.
Hi,
I
Manoj.
am. Yeah. Yeah, Adil. Yeah. Please.
Can I ask questions on previous section? I mean, yesterday's.
Previous session. Let's take that in the tomorrow's first 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go. If you have any questions now on the topics that we have covered, I'm open. But the other things we will discuss in the tomorrow's first 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Do you have any questions today's on the today's session?
I will go once again to the recording section and I will
Sure.
complete.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Anyone else? I suggest you all go through the sessions from start to end, just to be clear, to not get confused. We are going a bit deep every day, so don't uh, uh, try to look at the recordings from session one mostly, so that you will be on track and you will not lose what we are trying to discuss every day. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because I see people asking the repeated questions on how, what is the task and what are the different type of tasks. So I suggest again, I mean, you should be having the recording links and you should be able to see the recordings. So please go through that and come up with questions, and please be more specific on the things. Okay. So there is a question, I think. Oh, there are many questions. Bilal, do you have questions still?
No, because I will wait again video.
Okay. So how can we know the snaps in the pipeline is from the specific snap pack? So we will get to that. Once you have the the Snaplogic trial version available for you, there is this. Let me show you my screen actually.
That is, I mean, mapper and CSV parser, everything will be presented in every snapback, so?
Yes, correct. So if you can see this tab here, right, there is this grouping option wherein you can see the snaps in a snapback manner, otherwise type.
Yes, sir.
So these are the 6 types. Okay, we have. You will be able to see or identify the snaps by any of this name. If you are looking at a read snapback, all the fields that are there will be in a read, will be from the read.
Okay.
Likewise, transform will have different. Flow will have different. Pass will have different. You should be able to group it by type, and you will be seeing 6 types, and you can able to identify the pipeline or sorry snap based on the type here.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, why? Hello.
Yep. Yeah.
Sir, why not can do login via single sign on?
That is again to the customer need. I mean, we should be able to have a Snaplogic, okay, which was managed by the customer or the Snaplogic, where you need to access. You are not a developer yet, but if you are a developer, if you are working with a company, they will provide you the access. Then only you can log in.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? If not, we can wind up the session, I guess. Prashant, I think we can wind up the session.
Yes, we can wind up. Thank you, team. Thank you, Manoj.
Yeah, Prashant and Manoj, if you can stay back for a couple of more minutes.
Sure. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.